Onorato and Miller in the wake of Super Bowl 59. Immediate reaction during the game was this might be the biggest Super Bowl blowout I've ever seen. And then you start to go back in your mind, other games the final score is not indicative,
Right.
but it was domination start to finish by the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll talk about how they got it done and why the Super Bowl MVP award went to the wrong person, or at least wrong position. That's coming up on Onorato and Miller. We'll talk with two stars from Law and Order SVU, season 26 for that incredible NBC drama. Major League Baseball spring training is underway with pitchers and catchers reporting this week. Are we taking the Dodgers or the field when it comes to making a World Series prediction? Speaking of LA, Luka and LeBron are on the court together. It looked pretty good the first time out. What is their ceiling in the Western Conference? And Dirty Difficult done. Ash on location, a.k.a. work. Let's get going.
This is Onorato and Miller, sponsored by Alpenhaus.
Alpenhaus, Marcella's, Bev's, Novice, and Performance Industrial with our Dirty Difficult done coming up later on in the show. All right, Ash, as we do the show on a Wednesday night this week, live on a Wednesday night.
Night early.
A few days removed from Super Bowl 59, everybody's already given their opinion about how awful the game was or how great the Eagles' performance was or how disappointing it was that the Chiefs did not seem prepared for the Eagles' pass rush or even an ability to adjust on the fly at the Super Bowl. So I guess just your overall thoughts on what you saw Sunday night to start us.
Yeah. I guess I'm never surprised when a team gets dominated, but you're kind of always surprised when a team like the Chiefs gets dominated. Like, had the Chiefs gone out and dominated the Eagles, I would have been like, yeah, okay. I think it was what team did the dominating that surprised people most. And it was the first time in years that the Chiefs had just kind of looked like incapable. And in a lot of ways, like lethargic and just like they couldn't, like they were outmatched. And Andy Reid doesn't get outmatched much. So I think it's that we have not seen that in a really long time. And we've seen bad games. We talked about it, that Broncos game. I mean, from the first snap was far worse than the game we just watched less than a week ago. So there have been not competitive Super Bowls. But yeah, despite the 18-point score, it just was never competitive at any point. And it was the fact that the Eagles did the dominating that surprised me.
Yeah, I think, in fact, we forget we were spoiled because we just had 3 straight Super Bowls decided by 3 points.
Yeah.
But we had a good stretch where Super Bowls were not competitive. Seahawks, Broncos, like you mentioned, that absolute blowout at MetLife Stadium. There was a Bills-Cowboys Super Bowl in the 90s that was an absolute blowout.
That's not that. I wouldn't consider that recent.
No, it wasn't.
You know what I mean?
I'm just saying that when I go back in time, I mean, games that were not competitive, those are 2 that come to mind right away that felt maybe even. I mean, look, this was 34-0 at one point, right? So 40-22 isn't even close to the way this game felt. At 17-0, it felt over. Now, did I still put $5 on the Chiefs to come back? And of course I did.
Yeah.
But 17 and then 24-0 at the half, that thing was done. Because if you were watching the game, not just looking at the score thinking, boy, some weird stuff must have happened and maybe the Chiefs can come back here. No, I mean, they could not move the ball. Mahomes had 20 passing yards in the first half. The Chiefs as a team had 3 rushing yards.
Yeah, 23 total yards in the first half.
Threw 2 interceptions. One was a pick 6.
They were bad.
Right? I mean, just didn't even see Cooper DeJean. And you're like, whoa, what is – I mean, not that he's Sam Darnold seeing ghosts out here, but clearly like the pass rush really bothered Mahomes' ability to play like within himself, not speed up, not make poor decisions. And then obviously the second interception was his offensive line getting pushed into him. 42 dropbacks, Ash, for Mahomes, not a single blitz by the Eagles defense.
And that's it. I think it's like we knew that the Eagles were putting together something special. The pieces that they had added, Jalen Carter, Cooper DeJean was a guy who fell to them at that linebacker position. The offensive and defensive lines have been really, really good for them. That's the best they've ever played. And I don't even think it's that close. Like, we've never seen them do that to a team like Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, it was, again, start to finish dominating. And Mahomes was running for his life. And generally, if you need a quarterback to win you a game running for his life, he's the guy you're going to go to, him or a guy like Jalen Hurts. It was just kind of crazy. It was crazy.
It looked a lot like when the Bucks beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And again, Mahomes was constantly under pressure. And that's because the Chiefs had injury issues along the offensive line that year. Same thing this year. They had to kick Joe Thuney out from left guard to left tackle. And what did we see the next? We saw the Chiefs retool that offensive line, come back, and win a Super Bowl. Now, I'm sure that will be the conversation all offseason.
Sure.
We got killed along the offensive line in the Super Bowl. What are we going to do to fix things in the offseason? Sam's watching. He says final score does not tell the entire story. Yeah, not even close. I mean, 18 feels, when you look at that's like 40-20. Oh, okay.
Right. No, I mean,
correct. Not even close.
6 sacks, and it could have been more.
Yeah.
And you know, the times he didn't get sacked, he threw 2 picks. So like there could have been a lot more that happened through and 3 turnovers altogether. And obviously, like, when you can generate instant offense in the form of a pick 6 on defense, well now the chances of you winning are just so significantly better. But they turned a lot of those, at least 2 of those turnovers turned into touchdowns. So that's at least 14 points off of turnovers. A
pick 6 and an interception thrown, backed up pretty much against his own goal line. Zach Bond, I forget where he caught the ball exactly in the interception, but it was inside the 20-yard line. So I believe in the first 8 minutes of this show, we have correctly identified the winning thread for the Philadelphia Eagles. However, the MVP went to Philly quarterback Jalen Hurts. Now, threw 2 touchdowns. Yeah. Got a tush push into the end zone to start the game. So 3 total touchdowns. Mm-hmm. He played well. He ran for more than 70 yards.
Right. I mean, he outrushed Saquon Barkley, yes?
He played well. Yes, he played well. But the defense, similarly to what the Giants did in that first Super Bowl victory against Tom Brady and the Patriots when New England was going for 18-0, that MVP should have gone, as ridiculous as it maybe sounds, to the defensive collective.
Yeah, and I would have no problem, and I understand why you can't single out, like, Cooper DeJean probably would have been the guy because it was a pick 6.
Maybe.
Was he the most effective defensive player? I don't know. I would have said you give it to the defensive line. Like, if you have to narrow it, you give it to the Eagles' defensive line. But I understand that you can't do that. Do we change it?
Well, why not? Why can't you give it to the Eagles' defense?
Yeah.
I don't know that there's a rule that says it has to go to an individual player.
I'm sure it does. Most valuable player is the name of the award.
I mean, look, when they pass around, what they do at the Super Bowls, they'll pass around a ballot, basically, and you have to vote somewhere midway through the fourth quarter for your MVP. I get you have to write down a name. I get it. Yeah. But Josh Sweat had 2.5 sacks. Mm-hmm. You're right. Cooper DeJean had the pick 6. Eli Manning won that MVP in 2007 or 8, whatever year it was. Meanwhile, it was Strahan, Tuck, Kiwanuka and
Numenora,
right, who all day wreaked havoc on Brady and the Patriots in a 17-14 win. And I thought then the right thing to do would be to find a way to give the MVP to the defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't happen then, and now, how many years later, 28 years later, it didn't happen now. No, that's terrible math.
Not 28. I was going to say, God, I was young for that.
Yeah, 18 years. And somebody has to have a Herculean effort.
Yeah.
Regular season and postseason.
Yeah.
To take an MVP away from a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
It is a quarterback award in the regular season, and certainly we've made it one in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, because like the question here is like, say Jalen Hurts threw 3 touchdowns to Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith needs to have like 17 catches for 400 yards and those 3 touchdowns to not give it to Jalen Hurts over Devontae Smith. Like, You know what I mean? This is how it works. Like if you have unless it's the running back, unless it was Saquon Barkley ran for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns in addition to whatever Jalen Hurts did, okay, now we're talking. But because Jalen Hurts' arm has so much to do with the result of the receiver's efforts, too often it's going to go to the quarterback.
Yep. Troy says they had Mahomes auditioning for Happy Feet 3.
Love it.
Sam says Eagles defense won the game for him, no doubt about it. Melissa's watching as well. We appreciate that.
And I wonder if you asked the guys on the D-line, hey, here's the deal. If it's a collective, are you cool with that? Like, we can't pick one of you. If it wasn't, it's either you win it as a collective or nobody wins it and we give it to Jalen. I'm sure they'd say, yeah, give it. We got to say all the right things. Give it to Jalen. But we'll take it as a collective then. Give it as like a team, a unit effort.
Josh Sweat was asked about it, and he said, I should have won it. I could have won it.
Woo.
He's not wrong.
Good for him.
He's not wrong.
And maybe like 2.5. I get like 2.5 sacks. Okay, they had 6 altogether. Like there are other things that a pick 6 is as big as it gets on defense. You are scoring points on defense. You can't put a price on that. But
Chiefs fall short of the three-peat, and now Mahomes is 3-2 in Super Bowls. I believe Brady was 3-2 in his first 5 as well. And then, he had that 10-year stretch in between Super Bowl wins. I don't know that Mahomes is going to go 10 years without a Super Bowl win. But
it makes him more similar to Brady, not less similar.
Okay. I mean, I guess we'll see. Brady never lost a Super Bowl in this way. And he never lost a Super Bowl the way Mahomes lost to Brady. I mean, Tom won close Super Bowls, and he lost close Super Bowls. I don't know that Brady would have gone a full 4 quarters playing the way Mahomes and the Chiefs did on Sunday. And I'm with you. Wow. Andy Reid is as good preparing as any coach in the NFL. But I don't know that Belichick Brady would have suffered a 34-0 deficit and 40-6
Sure. In the fourth. I think if you just put Tom Brady in Patrick Mahomes' spot, he gets sacked 12 times. The guy can't move. So, like, if you just put the same exact people around him, and you're not saying you're transplanting that Patriots team into now, I think he gets sacked 12 times, and I think the result is just as ugly. Because he doesn't have – that's not a different offensive line. You're not replacing the offensive line with Brady's offensive line. And I understand what you're saying. He's never gotten blown out. At the end of the day, I'm not sure the quarterback comparisons are done. I know plenty of people are going to say that. Yeah. He's got – 10 plus years left in his career. If he wins even 2 or 3 more Super Bowls, we revive the quarterback comparison debate. This is how it works, people. This is sports. This is what we do.
Yeah, no, I get that. If Mahomes, he's at 3. If he gets to 5, they certainly will drum it back up. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. But as with everything, as with every comparison conversation, some of it's a little premature when it comes to Mahomes being Tom Brady in terms
Speaking of premature.
Oh, never when it comes to Super Bowl odds for next year. The defending champs are the slight favorites over the Chiefs and the Ravens. I mean, we will go back to the well over and over and over again with Baltimore, even though we don't see Lamar Jackson get beyond the divisional round. And yet Ravens have as good as odds as the Chiefs.
I'm a little surprised by the Lions.
Saying you like the Lions?
No, I'm a little surprised by the Lions odds. A little bit.
Being as long as they are, or being yeah. I mean, I think you consider losing both coordinators, and you don't know exactly what that's going to look like. But the roster is still talented, and obviously they'll get healthy with Aiden Hutchinson. If I had to take a little bit of a flyer on a team you don't see on the board here, Chargers are plus 3,000.
Speaking of going back to the well.
You're not kidding. Year 2 of Harbaugh, and he did Herbert finally.
Everybody goes back to the well on Herbert, and yet that
never won a playoff game.
Hasn't
Did he
panned
actually just go pop a Super Bowl? I don't know, but the Eagles are not going to lose a lot of talent, so it makes sense that they would be the favorites going into next year.
Yeah, that's generally how it works, right?
Bills. I mean, at some point, it just got to be time. Sam says Bengals at 18-1. I don't know. They're going to lose T. Higgins. The defense already isn't great. The division is difficult. I don't know. Hard to get behind that one, maybe. All right, let's take a break here on Onorato and Miller. When we come back, we've got spring training underway, pitchers and catchers report for Major League Baseball. Andre Jackson Jr. jumps into the dunk contest this weekend, and the Jets are reportedly not interested in bringing Aaron Rodgers back. Is there a team, or as happens with so many other players in professional sports, will the league retire him? Back in a minute.
Great memories start with Alpenhaus. Amsterdam, Clifton Park, and High Adventure in Latham.
I'm Jeff Ukelek. I'm owner of Bev's, and we're a beverage center in upstate New York. You're just going to have that wow component when you come in, like, wow, look at this place. It's bright, it's clean, it has everything that I need. Consumer is king. Be able to provide them a friendly environment and a place to shop, no matter where they are, whether they're down here in Saratoga or whether they're up in Queensbury. You're always going to get the same experience when you shop at Bev's. At the end of the day, if you walk in your stores, you're going to see a lot of people that have a lot of pride.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpenhaus.
Two of the stars from Law and Order SVU will jump on the show with us here a little bit later on, season 26, for that drama, which is the longest running live action series drama in television history.
I don't even really know what any of that means.
Well, I guess
what does live action mean?
I guess it means that it's not a reality show like a Survivor.
Okay.
Obviously, it's not a comedy. Live action. I don't know.
Interesting. We have dueling logos happening. You and I.
Explain that. Oh, I see. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. You're Nike. I'm Novice.
Boy, What a battle. We know who wins that, the sponsor of the show. When
by
Nike
the way,
starts sponsoring our show.
Yeah. Final record. We both took the Chiefs to cover 1.5. That didn't happen. And so we knew we would both end up tied. And instead of 58-49, which would have looked really nice, it's still pretty good. 7 games over 500 when you're picking 107 of these things.
Yep.
Not bad, Ash.
Kissing your sister. It's okay. I'm proud of that record. The way I started, not good.
You should be proud of that record. This is not easy to do. And anybody who has, a FanDuel or DraftKings app knows.
I don't have anything to flip.
Yeah, me neither.
I got a badge.
All right, your face is heads.
My
obviously.
face is heads, and there's nothing on the back.
All right.
Are you going to believe? Do I need to live video it so you believe me?
No, I'll believe you. You want me to call it?
Yeah, you can call it. Hang on, I'm going to move this back.
Okay.
I'm just
Ash is going to flip to decide it. I'm ready.
Go ahead.
Heads. Oh! Ash wins 57.5.
We're not counting that, but it was fun.
Oh, gosh.
Tails never fails, baby.
Sam, we will make Major League Baseball predictions for division and playoffs the way we always do. And then
hopefully not today because I don't have those ready for you.
By October, we usually forget who we've picked.
Yes.
And we're probably thankful to have forgotten who we picked. Gary jumped in here too. Late. Eagles defense was the MVP. Stellar.
No doubt.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Okay. Jets reportedly not interested in bringing back Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers flew from his home in California to the Jets facility to meet with new head coach Aaron Glenn and the new GM as well. And by all reports, the mood of the meeting was the Jets basically saying, look, if you're going to be part of this team, here are the things you need to do. And one was to be all in on the offseason program and no weekly radio, TV,
he's out.
show appearances.
He's out.
Which is the McAfee show. So, is that an ultimatum? Is that the Jets knowing Rodgers won't agree to certain terms and they can get away? I don't know. But Rodgers will not be a Jet next year. And let me just quickly, and this isn't revisionist history, it's just a comment on what we saw.
Oh.
What a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
And look, part of it is an injury. And you can never blame somebody for an injury when you feel like they're healthy and doing all that they should do to take care of their body. And Rodgers has largely been healthy for his career. He's had collarbones and things like that have held him out. But so forget year one. Year two statistics, and Sam's a Jets fan, and he can attest to this or push back on it, whatever he wants, but the statistics are good. 28 touchdowns passing, 11 interceptions, almost 4,000 yards passing. But they never equated to wins. And if you watched the Jets week in and week out, Rodgers never looked really good. He gets to 500 career passing touchdowns. And so the question here, Ash, is there a team out there in 2025 that will want Aaron Rodgers, that makes sense for Aaron Rodgers? Or is he going to look around the room and realize there is nobody left to dance with?
Right.
I am going home.
I think it might happen that way, but it feels like some stupid team will say well, yeah, but it's Aaron Rodgers. He can still dance, even if it's with a cane or, it just feels like someone will do it. Who is probably a better question. And I'm trying to figure out the answer to that. If it wasn't, Pittsburgh is one that obviously makes sense. If they don't have a quarterback, they could get him. That could make sense. I know you like the idea of Vegas. I don't hate the idea of Vegas. I don't think they're as talented as the Steelers, but you're playing inside where weather is not a factor. I don't know that he's going to cold is probably not good for a guy who's got a repaired leg.
Troy says Adams forces his way out. Rodgers maybe ends up there. Sam said, let him go to Pittsburgh. Troy just proved that age catches everyone. other than Brady.
Yeah.
Personality makes people hate him. Still a top 5 quarterback all time when the dust settles. That one is interesting to me. We don't have to debate that now, but he obviously only has 1 Super Bowl ring and only 1 Super Bowl appearance. Scott says, I think you're right. He's going home. Not the way he wanted, but still one of the greatest to play. And I think, Scott, I'm with you, man. Like, I wonder if the last year in Green Bay and then these 2 in New York make us forget how great Aaron Rodgers was at playing the quarterback position. I'm not talking about being an all-time winner or any of that, but he's a 4-time MVP. And for a decade, we talked about Aaron Rodgers as perhaps being the most talented to ever play the position because of the arm strength, the accuracy, the mobility, right? I mean, he wasn't a running quarterback, but he was a really good scrambling quarterback to pick up first downs, extend the play. Yes, absolutely. He revolutionized the way quarterbacks use the hard count at the line of scrimmage and the way he was able to catch defenses with a 12th man on the field.
Listen, I'll say he's the greatest to ever do that.
Sure.
Without a doubt. Greatest to ever hard count and just snap the ball when people are on the field. Like, there's no doubt.
When the chips were down, he lost too many NFC championship games. And I watched all of them with my emotions completely on the floor. Matt weighs in. As he should believe.
Yeah, he's got a rooting interest.
So yes or no, Rodgers plays in 2025?
I'm going to say yes. I don't know where. I'm going to say yes. Somebody will do it.
I think so too. He's 41. He'll turn 42 in December. I think he plays also, Ash, but I don't know where. And I only say that believing he wants to have some kind of final say in how this thing ends for him.
Yeah, how it all plays out. And that doesn't mean he will. Like, he could
right, and it doesn't mean
join the Raiders and it ends just as poorly as it did with the Jets, or he goes somewhere and can't win a starting job. So, yes, in one way he can sort of dictate how it ends, but at the end of the day, he also could still go somewhere where it doesn't go the way he wanted, and he still won't have dictated it to that of his choosing.
What do the Jets do at quarterback?
It's a great question.
It looks like, based on a lot of mock drafts, everybody's doing a mock draft right now, and this week, moving off the idea of quarterbacks going 1-2.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't even believe a quarterback is going to go 1. It's Travis Hunter and it's Abdul Carter.
Okay.
I don't buy that. I think that
if that happens, then you force the Giants to take a quarterback.
Ward is projected to go to the Giants in a lot of mock drafts right now at 3, but Sanders is off the board at 6 to Vegas before the Jets are able to pick. So you can't bring Sam Darnold back. That just seems ridiculous.
I think Sam might have something
like that. Is it Justin Fields for a year? Are you just kind of stopgapping this thing? You couldn't go to Kirk Cousins after the way things with Rodgers went. It's just not a good look. It's going to be interesting to see what the Jets do at quarterback if they aren't able to draft one of the top 2 guys, and obviously they aren't bringing back Aaron Rodgers. Look, it's every offseason, but it feels like there are infinitely interesting storylines this offseason.
Here comes the homer in me.
Okay.
Kyle McCord. Like, of all the people, if you're going to take a risk on a second, third round draft pick, why not that guy?
Yeah.
And not a first round draft pick. Like,
I don't think it will be. Speaking of quarterbacks, you have an issue that Eli Manning didn't get in year 1.
It almost comes back to the MLB thing where it's like, he's a Hall of Famer, right? If you think he's a Hall of Famer, then you put him in.
Yeah.
I understand it's probably like, well, Eric Allen only has been, it's his 19th year in or whatever it was. But like, you're going to tell me Jared Allen deserves to be in the Hall more than Eli Manning.
Yeah.
Antonio Gates, I'm cool with. One of the greatest tight ends of all time. Good.
Well, Luke Kuechly also didn't get in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can only
that
vote
guy
for,
was so injured throughout his career.
You can only vote for 7 guys. Sterling Sharp gets in. You mentioned Eric Allen, 2 guys that really waited a while to get that call. I'm with you here. When Eli retired, he was top 7 in completions, touchdowns, and yards, I believe. And he has 2 of the greatest Super Bowl plays / throws in NFL history.
I know.
Beating Brady and Belichick twice. Like, I'm not concerned with the postseason success or lack thereof in other seasons. The 2 Super Bowl runs we witnessed with Eli Manning and those Giants teams as 7s or 6 seeds going on the road, start to finish. Lambeau and then San Francisco to reach the Super Bowl. A big game quarterback, right, is how I will remember Eli Manning, and big moment quarterback. And I'm with you. If he's a Hall of Famer and he's got the credentials he has, just vote for him year 1. And look, nobody has pushed back nationally. Everybody's kind of like, okay, good. The voters did their job. Eli Manning is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Thank you. Right?
But that's it seems like that's what it's become. Like, I'm not going to vote him in because I don't believe he belongs on the first ballot. That's not for me, that's not it. That's not your job. Your job is he a Hall of Famer based on the other people on that ballot? It's not about if you're voting for him the first time, second time, third time. That has become the idea of that has taken over Hall of Fame voting.
And I just think year after year after year, if you don't vote for somebody year 1, it becomes easier year 2 and year 3 to justify, well, but this person really deserves to get in too, and they've been waiting longer. Or this person just popped on to the ballot, and actually it just becomes easier to kind of have that conversation with yourself. Now, Eli will get in, but I asked the question, how long will it take? I think it might take beyond next year too, Ash.
Oh, goodness. The problem is you add guys to the pool every year. So if you're adding guys like Tom Brady in a few years, well, of course, you know what I mean? Like, there are guys who are going to start outshining people. And the longer you go, I think it's like, well, it wasn't good enough to get in the first 5 years.
Yeah. All right, let's take another break here on Onorato and Miller. When we come back, Lakers look pretty good when they roll out Luka and LeBron for the first time together. Dodgers or the field, who or what are we taking to win the World Series in 2025? And an RPI grad is back in the NFL coaching ranks. We're back right after this on Onorato and Miller.
I'm Jeff Ukelek. I'm owner of Bevs, and we're a beverage center in upstate New York. You're just going to have that wow component when you come in, like, wow, look at this place. It's bright, it's clean, it has everything that I need. Consumer is king. Be able to provide them a friendly environment and a place to shop, no matter where they are, whether they're down here in Saratoga or whether they're up in Queensbury. You're always going to get the same experience when you shop at Bevs. At the end of the day, if you walk in your stores, you're going to see a lot of people that have a lot of pride.
The great thing about Novice is no matter who you are, they're going to put all the detail in the world into your brand. I feel like they have been a big part of my success, making me feel comfortable. This is Harrison Butker, Super Bowl champion kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. Claim your crown.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alphen House.
Seeing that Butker spot there, Ash, reminds me, I read about a bettor who put $2,200 on Harrison Butker to kick one successful extra point. And it would have only won him like $100. So what felt like a slam dunk ends up being a $2,200 loss. because the Chiefs never kicked
2.
an extra point.
Can you imagine? He was probably like, every time they were go for 2, he's probably like hitting his head off the table. Like, just kick the extra point, please.
Yeah, exactly.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
Right.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, the payoff is just
2,200 to win 100.
Yeah.
Like, go find better things to do with all that money you've got to bet.
Yeah.
And now, Dirty, Difficult, and Done. Sponsored by Performance Industrial.
Bill Miller and his great squad at Performance Industrial, where the job is never too dirty or difficult to get it done. By the way, Bill is one of the owners of Tinny's Tavern in Lake or on Lake Desolation.
Well, it's on Lake Desolation, but it could be in Lake Desolation if that's the name of the town.
See, right. And on March 1st, I will be emceeing the return of the Outhouse races on Lake Desolation. I have never been to an outhouse race.
Frozen Lake Desolation.
It's going to be, I would imagine, it's going to be cold. Certainly, you hope it's cold because you want that lake to be frozen. And breaking news here.
Oh.
News Channel 13 will have a team, and the person in the outhouse will be none other than our investigative reporter, Tessa Bentulin, who is beyond excited.
Oh, my God. I love her.
About the opportunity to do this.
What?
So I will not be pulling, pushing, or riding. I will simply be emceeing, and I'm grateful for that because it gets me out of having to do some of the other stuff.
I have to say, I'm going to give Tessa her flowers here. Tessa sledding live on television, backwards down the hill about 3 football fields away is some of the greatest television I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, you have to understand she's from Miami.
Yes.
So
doesn't see snow often, doesn't go sledding often.
No.
It was
pretty
great.
good.
It was great.
Here's your
and good for her. She's such a good sport. She's such a good sport.
Yep.
Oh, thank you. My dirty difficult done. Matt Patricia is not done. I didn't think he would be. I'm a little interested that he's back in the college ranks. But the RPI grad has been hired as the Ohio State defensive coordinator. That, Knowles goes to Penn State, which was an interesting move to go hang out with Greg Gattuso, our buddy, after the national championship. This is an interesting move to me. Listen, you take the job because you take the job, but you wonder what Ohio State looks like after a national championship. Do guys go to the NFL? Do guys transfer because they want to go get playing time? So how easy that job becomes. But you've got Ryan Day, and you're probably going to get some pretty good recruits to go to Ohio State coming off a national title. So what's that?
And I think I may have said NFL job going to the commercial break there. Ohio State is a machine. They will continue to get 5-star recruits and some of the best players available in the transfer portal.
And listen, he knows what he's we talk about this all the time. He basically studied to be an aerospace engineer. He's an extraordinarily intelligent human being. Was an NFL coach, has NFL head coaching experience, didn't go well in Detroit. And then was the DC for the New England Patriots, where he won 2 Super Bowls and was a part of much more than that. So this is a guy who knows what he's doing. We always love to give him some shine because he's a local guy, has come back to RPI a good amount. So good for him.
There's a clip out there, the Julian Edelman podcast. It's lengthy, so settle in for it, but it's worth watching, where Patricia details what went into the defensive call and strategy against the Seahawks on that one particular play that led to the Malcolm Butler interception.
Handed the ball off.
Patricia says it's fascinating if you're interested in just what goes in. Right, these guys are not just calling defensive plays
like random. I know it kind of feels that way when you're watching. Like, well, let's just take a guess.
Years in the making, the way he describes it. Years in the making. The package of players that they put together on the field for that one particular play, it's fascinating to hear him describe it in detail. Go find it. It's the Julian Edelman podcast. Really, really cool.
Okay.
Yeah, good for him. And I think it's a great move. I mean, look at the success Chip Kelly had in 1 year, right? Like, you can go in, and we saw how many coaches do this to try to kind of get back on the map, except they were doing it with Saban at Alabama. All these guys from Kiffin to Sarkisian who went to go, Bill O'Brien, to go be offensive coordinators at Alabama.
Yep.
To get back into the coaching game. And so Patricia does it here with Ohio State. I think it makes perfect sense here. Good for him. You know, I don't root much for Ohio State, but I'll at least root for the defense at Ohio State. My dirty, difficult done. Expect Andre Jackson Jr. to be dirty in the dunk contest at NBA All-Star Weekend Saturday night.
Like this.
Doing this show live on a Wednesday night. The dunk contest is Saturday night. It has lost its luster and allure.
Yep.
Mac McClung, who is not an NBA player, is back to try to win his third straight dunk contest.
I hope Andre dethrones him.
Yeah, me too. And the betting odds are interesting. McClung is the heavy favorite.
Did you throw money on Andre?
Well, I haven't been able to find the action in New York State, so I might have to go to an outside source. But Andre is plus 500. Modest Buzelis from the Bulls, who's a rookie and has some impressive dunks on his own, is third choice. And then Stephon Castle is after Buzelis. But I like the value and the potential here of Jackson. The problem with guards is because they're smaller, it looks prettier.
Yeah.
But Jackson's only like 6'6". He's not too tall.
No.
And I think he's going to display, right, instead of all of the through the legs, behind the back, 360, free throw line, he might do some of those things. But if I'm Jackson, the same way Vince Carter used to, like, I am going to display how high I can jump.
Pull something off of the top of the backboard and dunk it through the hoop.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. And that will wow. He'll have to, he's going to have to do a lot because McClung is a super talented dunker and he's short, which works for him. And by short, I mean short for, NBA / NBA dunk contests. But yeah, the ease with which Andre does it, where I think sometimes that works against you, I think it'll work for him because he'll do things that should not be easy and that NBA players and others who are in the game will know shouldn't be easy, and he'll make it look easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sam wants to know, do we care about the NBA All-Star Game or the NHL Four Nations series? I will not, and I'm a little bummed about this. I know you'll think it's ridiculous, but I'll say it anyway. I will not, I'll be on a plane during the NBA All-Star Game. And I'm a little bummed that I won't be able to watch it at home. Maybe I can find it on the plane. But because of the new format, I'm just at least interested. I'm not saying it's going to be good, but I'm glad they're trying something new here because it was, one, not really basketball or competitive. Nobody really felt like playing any defense. It was a terrible watch. I love the three-point shootout. Love it. It is my all-time favorite. That and the home run derby are the two best things any all-star weekend has to offer. And
the dunk contest used to be good.
Oh, it used to be great.
And I would
take
it
in a long time.
Contest, but
the Four Nations series, I will watch some of this. The U.S. starts on Thursday night. Finland, I believe. I think it's Canada and Sweden tonight, being Wednesday night. So I'm interested in the Four Nations series. I especially love the timing of it because the Devils are a little banged up and could use some time off to get healthy. How about you?
NBA All-Star Game, I'm a nope.
Yeah.
I'll watch the three-point shootout. I will watch the dunk. Well, is it Saturday?
Yeah, Firewolves.
I won't watch the NBA three-point shootout, and I will not watch the NBA dunk contest.
Oh.
I'll watch it back. I will find highlights of it. I'm interested. I have a Firewolves game, so that therefore takes me out of the running for that. Four Nations I probably won't see much of or won't watch much of it, but it's not that I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, you're just not going to invest in it.
Yeah.
Put your time in it.
Maybe
okay.
I don't care.
Spring training is here, and there are still some big name free agents out there. I didn't put this in the show, but a guy like Alex Bregman still does not have a team. Now, maybe if you're watching this over the weekend, something has happened in the last 48, 72 hours. But and it's not that he has a shortage of teams pursuing him. That just hasn't been a deal that has materialized yet. Pete Alonso, did we cover this last week? Alonso back to the Mets. Okay, I think that's a big deal for that lineup, and I think it vastly improves New York's chances to make another deep playoff run. But my question here with pitchers and catchers reporting is, on the heels of all of this, maybe baseball needs a salary cap talk because of what the Dodgers are doing. Would you take the Dodgers or the field today to win the World Series?
The Dodgers. And generally, I'm a field kind of person. But the Dodgers literally feels like everyone but Aaron Judge on their team. They've got everyone. They've spent so much money.
Yeah.
They have everyone, all the things. No one should beat them. If they do not win the World Series this year, shame on them.
I don't disagree. They should be the prohibitive favorites to win the World
Prohibitive by
Series.
like $1 million.
But if you're giving me one verse, and this is not 1 verse 30 or 1 verse 29, because the other 29 teams can't all win the World Series. This is like 1 verse 7, maybe.
Yeah, 10? Even if you give me 1 versus the field in the playoffs, like when we get there, I'll take the Dodgers.
I'm going to take the field here. It's such a long year. Sam says give him the field. This is great. Troy would rather see a lockout.
Oh no. I don't want a lockout. I love baseball.
Daytona 500 this weekend as well. And Ash, you just brought this up to me on the side. Claire Hutton, who is a Bethlehem graduated from high school, I think, a year early.
I don't know if she graduated.
Well, you know what? It's funny. I didn't think so either, but then I did more reading about her yesterday, and there are multiple reports out there that she graduated early.
Okay, great. I mean, good for her. I don't care either way. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter to me. Either way, she left earlier than her filling out her senior year, which was kind of the point. Yeah.
Kids at home, if you have the ability to go be a professional athlete before even your high school career is over,
and you can do that,
you can go back to school. I'm not opposed to that. I get the whole stay in school thing and all that messaging and education's important, and all that is true for people like me.
Yep.
But if you are that supremely gifted athletically or even educationally, right? Don't need a degree for something, you can go immediately into change the world somehow. Cool, go do it. So everything I read was that she did graduate early.
Perfect.
So good for her.
Neither here nor there.
Conversation was North Carolina or right into the development program nationally. And anyway, all of this is to say that this Bethlehem grad, Claire Hutton, at 19 years old, has been called up by the U.S. women's national team.
Like the national team.
23 players in all on the roster. That's it.
The team you watch in the Olympics, that's the team she got called up to.
2025, she believes, Cup. And yes, right. Hopefully.
And she may not stay up on the roster. A whole slew of things could happen. But at 19 years old, she's getting her first crack at being on the roster. And the She Believes Cup is a big deal. It's become a big deal.
Yep.
Someone said today she's one of 6 midfielders who will be on the team. Like, there's a chance she plays.
Oh, yeah.
It depends on how things go and who gets hurt and where they are in the, in the standings. They lose a few games. Maybe she has a better opportunity to play. I don't know. I'm not sure what their situation is, but I understand we've got Kevin Huerter in the NBA. We've got Tommy Kahnle and Jeff Hoffman who went to this school, who are both Major League Baseball pitchers. This is one of the greatest athletic achievements to come out of this area ever. And for me, it's like top 3 already. And she hadn't done a thing yet. And by hasn't done a thing yet, I mean, hasn't even hit the field with them yet. I don't think you can overstate the achievement of making that, to being called up a single time. Even if she never plays, I don't think you can overstate it.
Yeah, and look, we have Olympians who have come from this area, and we're not even talking about the Olympics or the World Cup here, but the U.S. women's national team has such prestige to be one of 23.
Yep. And in a sport that it's not our sport here. Like, this is not a sport where we pump out really great Division I players on a given year. And by great, I mean like North Carolina. Like, we're talking teams that compete for national titles. It doesn't happen very often. We're talking about Andre Jackson playing in the slam dunk contest this weekend, but like, it's still, we're trying, Sam, we're trying. It's still, for me, one of the greatest achievements of any athlete to come out of this area.
All right, got to run. Law and Order SVU right after this.
Marcella's Appliance Center, our commitment is to you, providing essential appliances that families depend on for cooking, refrigeration, cleaning, and sanitation, plus appliance repair. You can have peace of mind that Marcella's is here for you today and every day, like we have been since 1957, helping you make the right choice with trusted brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, and many more. Shop Marcella's Appliance Center in-store, online, or by phone. We're here for you.
The great thing about novices, no matter who you are, they're going to put all the detail in the world into your brand. I feel like they have been a big part of my success, making me feel comfortable. This is Harrison Butker, Super Bowl champion kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. Claim your crown.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alphen House.
Season 26 and midway through it now as we get almost halfway through the month of February here back on Onorato and Miller, and really happy to be joined by Juliana Aiden Martinez and Kevin Kane from Law and Order SVU. Guys, thanks for doing this. Kevin, is it true you were born and raised in Philly, and are you still on a Super Bowl high?
Yeah, I think I just sobered up for these interviews.
Is there any choice but to be an Eagles, Phillies, Flyers fan when you grow up in Philadelphia?
No, not. You really don't have a choice unless you want to be a heel. But I have started worrying about my kid because she's seen 2 Eagles Super Bowls, and up until that point, I've never seen any in my lifetime, and I feel like she's going to be very soft. I'm worried.
Yeah, or the expectation is you just get there every year. It's so easy, right?
Yeah.
Juliana, I read an article about you being from Miami and how people are from Miami. And I'm reading the quote here: unapologetic, fierce, funny, and bold. Do you get to put any or all of that into Detective Kate Silva?
Yes, I think that even if I tried, that I would not be able to hide those qualities about me. It's so quintessential of who we are. We kind of say what we mean, and we mean what we say. And I think that that's definitely influenced Silva in a way. And also, I moved to New York as a teenager, so I feel like I have a bit of that New York swag that I sometimes see comes in on the show.
Hey, you just got toughness ingrained in you both.
Possibly.
Right? Wow.
Possibly.
When you were cast in this role and you were on set with the likes of Mariska Hargitay and Ice-T, what is that aura like to be around?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there's such big names, and it's kind of, they're iconic to the show and all the fans. And I think pretty quickly you start to watch them work and how much they want their next episode to be the best one they've ever done. And it's kind of inspiring after 26 years. you just got to jump in and just keep up with them.
Absolutely. I fully agree with that. Mariska, the way that she also works, it's so astounding. She's such an incredible leader on the set, and she really cares about the quality of the work, and it shows, and it's a testament to why the show has lasted so long. She truly cares, and it's infectious. I think everyone wants to do a great job and do better than the next.
Kevin, this is your third season, but you have such a comedic background as well. I'm wondering which of the disciplines you enjoy more, or which is more of a challenge for you.
I don't know. I think, the comedy shows we do, they're just this home base of people for me that I've been working on since we were doing it for free. Like, you pay $20, all the beer you can drink, and come see us. And now we're doing it on TV. So that's such a wild experience in it of itself. But to flip onto this show, I think what I wasn't ready for was how funny, this cast is, and how much I laugh on this set, because, the subject matter is very heavy, and they have to keep it moving, and there's a lot of work to do during the day, and they really keep it a great time all day on this set.
Juliana, how does that make maybe the job easier, or how do you see that go, from off screen to on screen, the chemistry that exists as Kev just described it?
I think that this kind of energy we have of just like, we all really like each other, and we all have like a really good time. And I think that really bleeds into this idea, or this just the semblance of a squad. We really feel like a team, everyone. And I think that really carries through in like wanting to be the best for each other. And then, like, let's say Ice-T has like a moment, we need Ice-T to carry the show in this moment. Or if Kevin has a moment, we need Kevin to carry on the show in this moment. So it really feels like everything becomes a team effort. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about the show, that it's really like all for one.
New episodes Thursday nights, 9 Eastern on News Channel 13 and NBC, and all season streaming on Peacock. Guys, thank you so much. This was a lot of fun. Continued success.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
I'm Jeff Ukelek. I'm owner of Bevs, and we're a beverage center in upstate New York. You're just going to have that wow component when you come in, like, wow, look at this place. It's bright, it's clean, it has everything that I need. Consumer is king. Be able to provide them a friendly environment and a place to shop, no matter where they are, whether they're down here in Saratoga or whether they're up in Queensbury. You're always going to get the same experience when you shop at Bevs. At the end of the day, if you walk in these stores, you're going to see a lot of people that have a lot of pride.
The great thing about Novice is no matter who you are, they're going to put all the detail in the world into your brand. I feel like they have been a big part of my success, making me feel comfortable. This is Harrison Butker, Super Bowl champion kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. Claim your crown.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alphen House.
And back now live again on Onorato and Miller to wrap things up here after that conversation with two of the stars from Law and Order SVU. Ash, have a great weekend. Have a great Firewolves call. We need to get one, Albany.
Thanks.
And good luck to Andre Jackson Jr. in the NBA dunk contest. Can't wait to watch all of that. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks for watching Onorato and Miller.